So recently, people in my life have been doing things that I just can't logically make sense of. People that are close to me, but also people I just encounter with that, from an outside point of view, it just doesn't make sense. And I thought, what are some things that I'm doing that don't make sense from a objective point of view? And when I started to think about my life and what I'm doing from a non objective point of view, I thought to myself, well, I could do this. How come these people can't see or understand the issues and just non logical thinking that they're going through in their life? And what it made me think of is maybe they don't know how to. And I thought back to how did I first start to understand how I might have been blind to some of the things that I was doing to myself, or some of the things that I was doing. How did I see? How did I uncover the glasses, and how did I look to be able to move? And it made me think back to the 12 steps. So this is the original, not original, but the Alcohol Anonymous book. And this is 12 Steps and Traditions. Now, the step that helped me understand how to look at things more objectively, especially when it came to my life, to be able to do better, was step 4. And step 4 is what these people are missing. Step 4 is how these people could go from not making any sense objectively to being able to stand upright and in the light. And it's how I do it to myself to make sure I hold myself accountable. And step 4 of the 12 steps is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Because when we don't do an inventory of ourselves, do we really know what we're doing? Are we aware of what we're doing? And this is what the 12 steps, one of the 12 steps, make you do, so that you can be aware of the actions that you're doing. So, how do we go about this? How do we start this? What does that look like? So I'm going to read from the book itself, because there's just some gems in here that not only helped me but will help you. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. So we as human beings have instincts, yet these instincts, so necessary for our existence, often far exceed their proper functions. Powerfully, blindly, many times subtly, they drive us, dominate us, and insist upon ruling our lives. Our desires for sex, for marital and emotional security, and for an important place in society often tyrannize us. When thus out of joint, man's natural desires cause him great trouble, practically all the trouble there is. Step 4 is a vigorous and painstaking effort to discover what these liabilities in each of us have been and are. We want to find exactly how, when, and where our natural desires have warped us. We wish to look squarely at the unhappiness this has caused, often ourselves and others. Before tackling the inventory problem in detail, let's have a closer look at what the basic problem is. The basic problem are our instincts, are the fundamental things of a human being that we unfortunately have to deal and fight with day to day. For example, suppose a person places sex desire ahead of everything else. In such a case, the urge can destroy his chances for for material and emotional security, as well as a standing in the community. Another may develop such an obsession for financial security that he wants to do nothing but hoard money. Going to the extreme, he can become a miser or even a recluse who denies himself both family and friends. Nor is the quest for security always expressed in terms of money. How frequently we see a frightened human being determined to depend completely upon a stronger person for guidance and protection. This weak one, failing to meet life's responsibilities with his own resources, never grows up. Disillusionment and helplessness are his lot. In time, all his protectors either flee or die, and he is once more left alone and afraid. We have also seen men and women who go power mad, who devote themselves to attempting to rule their fellows. These people often throw to the winds every chance for legitimate security and a happy life. Whenever a human being becomes a battleground for the instincts, there can be no peace. So, we have these instincts that we try to soothe and that we try to feed and satisfy in order to bring ourselves peace, in order to feel okay, feel fulfilled, to soothe ourselves. But it's a never-ending revolving door that brings no peace. And when we fall prey to these instincts, they wreak havoc in our life. So if we continue in this book here, we continue to see here that the way you have to look at your past in order to objectively look at it, because you have to look at it objectively. As soon as he begins to be more objective, the newcomer can fearlessly, rather than fearfully, look at his own defects. Excuse my dog. You have to look at it from an outside point of view in order to look at it fearlessly. And to avoid falling into confusion over the names of these defects or these instincts, whatever they should be called, we can at least recognize this list of human failings. You have the 7 deadly sins of pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and slothfulness. We can all agree that these are the 7 deadly characteristics that human beings have to deal with. I think we can all agree on this. And excuse me. And when we seem to fail in these areas, that failings generate fear. And then that fear in turn generates more character defects. And these fears are the termites that devour the foundations of whatever sort of life we're trying to build. So it's a spiral effect. We fall prey to these instincts. We fall prey to the failings of our human body. And those are all rooted in fear. And they generate fear. Then that fear leads to more character defects. So when AA suggests a fearless moral inventory, it must seem to every newcomer that more is being asked of him than he can do. But that's not true. Both his pride and his fear beat him back every time as he tries to look within himself. So once we have completely willingness to take inventory and exert ourselves to the job, you'll have this light that will fall on this foggy scene. when you understand that it's not who we are, but we can change, and it's not going to take work that we can't do, but it's going to it's a job. It's going to take some work. Then you get this new confidence that is born. Now from this confidence, you're going to ask, okay, now I'm willing to take inventory. How do I go about taking inventory to change? How do I take inventory to be aware of what my inventory is? Now, willing to commence the search for his own defects, he will ask, just how do I go about this? How do I take inventory of myself? Looking back over his life, he can ask certain questions, such as, when and how and in what instances did my selfish pursuit of sexual relation damage other people and me? What people were hurt and how badly? How have I reacted to frustration in sexual matters? When did I become vengeful or depressed? If there was a rejection or coldness at home, did I use this as a reason for promiscuity? Did I try to cover up those feelings of inadequacy by bluffing, cheating, lying, or even evading responsibility? Did I overvalue myself and play the big shot? Did I recklessly borrow money, caring little whether it was repaid or not? Was I a pinch penny or a penny pincher? Refusing to support my family property? Did I cut corners financially? These are questions you can ask yourself in order to get where you want to go. But you have to first be willing and then take a fearless moral inventory of yourself from an objective point of view. And you'll realize a lot of the things that you've been doing don't make sense. They come from a place of hurt. They come from a place of fear. They come from a place of inadequacy. And these actions are doing nothing but harming you. But you don't realize they're harming you because you think it's benefiting you because you're falling prey to the instinct. So in your mind, you think they're benefiting you. But it's because you're viewing it from a prideful point of view. You're viewing it from that point of view that you can't take yourself out of the situation in order to see what your inventory is supposed to be like. I share this because a lot of people in my life, I wouldn't say a lot of people, a few people in my life, I see them struggle. I see them struggle heavily. But we create all the problems in our life. We create all the issues in our life. So if we're creating issues and problems in our life that we don't like, that cause us pain to solve, that we aren't passionate about, we should do something about that. Okay. Until next time.